Hey guys, welcome back to the channel MyLatinLife. Today I want to talk about Italian citizenship by marriage and what that looks like. So if you've tied the knot with an Italian citizen or are wondering how to make that Italian passport a reality for a non-Italian spouse, you're in the right place. We're going to break down the eligibility requirements, the process, timelines, everything you need to know. Okay, so what is Italian citizenship via marriage? How does it work? In Italian, it's known as cittadinanza per matrimonio, which allows a foreign spouse to apply for Italian citizenship after meeting certain requirements. This is different from citizenship by descent because it's based on marriage to an Italian citizen rather than based on lineage. And a quick history lesson, it used to be a lot easier. They recently implemented more restrictions, including needing to speak the Italian language to a certain level, etc. So it used to be easier. It's gotten a little bit harder. It's not too hard still. We'll get into those requirements. So eligibility requirements as of 2024 to apply for Italian citizenship via marriage. Key criteria. Number one, marriage to an Italian citizen. Obviously, you need to be legally married to an Italian citizen. Civil unions are also recognized in Italy for citizenship purposes, but you'll need documentation for that civil union. Two, time of marriage. Okay, how long do you have to be married? If you are living in Italy, meaning you are residents of Italy, both of you, you can apply after being married for 2 years. However, if you're living outside of Italy, the time frame increases to 3 years. There is some good news, however. If you have children, either biological or adopted, with your Italian spouse, the waiting period is reduced by half. So that's 1 year in Italy or 1.5 years outside of Italy. Okay? Number three, language requirement. Since 2018, Italy has required applicants to demonstrate a minimum knowledge of the Italian language. You need to pass a test showing you have at least a B1 level of proficiency, which is like a lower intermediate level. There's, I think, technically 6 levels in the scheme. I forget what the scheme is called, but it's A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2. So C1 would be the most advanced. So B1 is kind of like level 3 out of 6. It's something that you could easily achieve within, say, 3 to 6 months of studying. But keep that in mind. Let's say you're, Italian American living in the US or whatever, just living outside of Italy, and you don't have a lot of exposure to the Italian language. Keep in mind that your spouse is going to have to study up, right? So that's an important consideration here. I guess technically once you get married, you're going to have, 1.5 to 3 years to study. But the sooner you get studying, the better. Okay, fourth requirement here is no criminal record. So like most countries, Italy will conduct a background check to ensure that you don't have any serious criminal convictions. The criminal record check will be in Italy, or it'll be in your home country, the country that you're currently residing in. So that might be an FBI background check for Americans. That might be an RCMP check for Canadians. Whatever your local country is, your spouse who's going for Italian citizenship, she's going to need to present a background check. Okay, so now let's talk about the application process. The process of applying for Italian citizenship via marriage involves several steps, so let's break it down. 1, gather your documents. You'll need to collect quite a few documents such as your marriage certificate, proof of residency if you live in Italy, criminal record check from your home country and any other country that you've lived in. Typically, this is in the past 5 years. Some countries is 3, sometimes it's 5. We'd have to check specifically what they're asking. You'll have to have proof of language proficiency to a B1 level. That means you'll have to sit for an exam and pass an exam. These exams are often distributed really anywhere there's like an Italian learning center. and there's a specific name to the institutes that are able to give these exams. I believe one is called the CILS, and they'll have different ones wherever you live. But you'll want to get, an officially approved one. And when you go and sign up for the exam, ask them, hey, is this going to be official in Italy for marriage purposes? And they should know the answer to that. Last document you're going to need is your birth certificate, and that's going to have to be translated to Italian as well as legalized. Next step in the process is you're going to submit your application. So applications can be submitted online through Italy's Ministry of the Interior website. The application includes filling out personal details, uploading all required documents, and paying the application fee of €250. Step 3 is the waiting game. After submitting, you'll need to be patient. Processing times can vary, but the average wait time is around 2 to 4 years. I know that's probably disheartening to some of you. It does take a while. There are strategies for speeding that up depending on where you apply. Reach out to MyLatinLife if you have, the urgent need to make this happen as soon as possible. We do have some secret strategies. Step 4 is going to be citizenship approval. Once you have your application approved, you'll be invited to take an oath of allegiance to Italy at the local consulate if you're abroad, or at the local municipal office if you're in Italy. So that's the process. Now, what rights, what benefits do you get as an Italian citizen? Well, once you obtain Italian citizenship, you unlock really a whole world of benefits. So let's go over a few important ones. One is full EU citizenship. As an Italian citizen, you'll also become a citizen of the European Union, meaning you can live, work, and study in any EU country without needing a visa. So you're unlocking really not just Italy, but the entire Eurozone. Number 2 is you get access to Italy's healthcare and education systems. You'll be eligible for Italy's public healthcare system, education. You could go to university or a master's degree in Italy at a significantly reduced cost, right? Another benefit is dual citizenship. So Italy allows dual citizenship, meaning you can keep your current nationality and enjoy the benefits of being both an Italian citizen and a citizen of your home country. You do not need to renounce in order to become an Italian citizen via marriage. Number 4 would be voting rights. So once you become an Italian citizen, you'll have the right to vote in Italian elections and have a say in the country's future. Cool. A couple important things to note before we wrap up. So some key points to keep in mind. One is going to be residency requirements. While you don't necessarily have to live in Italy to apply for citizenship via marriage, living in the country can speed up the timeline. It literally cuts it in half. But what's cool about this Italian citizenship via marriage is you don't have to live in Italy at all whatsoever. This is pretty unique because Spanish citizenship via marriage, for example, requires you to live in Spain as a Spanish tax resident for 1 year. So if you married someone with Spanish citizenship, you would have to literally go live in Spain for at least a year, and realistically probably multiple years, which would make you a tax resident, which would cost lots of money, right? Whereas with Italy, you don't have to become a tax resident. You don't have to live in Italy. So that's a huge benefit. And actually, one of the reasons I would argue that the Italian passport is one of the strongest in the world, because it can be transferred to spouses without even having to live in Italy. People like to say the Spanish passport is the strongest in Europe. Well, here's one point why actually Italy's would be stronger. So definitely, check to Italy here. Okay, another thing to note is the language proficiency. The B1 language requirement can be tricky for some. So it's worth investing in Italian lessons if you're not already proficient. This is something you're obviously going to have to plan in advance. You're going to have to get this certificate. One thing probably worth checking is how far in advance could you get the certificate and it still counts. Like if you already have the certificate, but you still need to wait 2 years, will the certificate still be valid? We're going to have to check that. You might have to reach out to your local consulate to be sure. And then document legalization, another key point here. So some countries require your documents to be translated and apostilled, which can take time. So make sure that you are prepared, right? Apostilles can take a long time in Canada, take a long time in the US. We're talking multiple months. So something, again, that you're going to want to plan in advance. That's a wrap on Italian citizenship via marriage. It's a lengthy process, but the benefits of becoming an Italian citizen are definitely worth it. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel on more content on international citizenship and residency. Drop a comment if you have any questions or if you're going through the process yourself or if you already went through the process yourself. We'd love to hear from your experience. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. And check our archive of videos on the channel because we have many more videos about Italian citizenship and different citizenships around the world. And if you would like to become a client of MyLatinLife, there'll be a link in the description where you can book a call. That's the best way to become our client. Ciao for now.